right, so now this section we're just going to kind of walk through real quick, and then we'll come back and talk a little about the theory and stuff. But what he does after he goes up to that little thing with the bend, he slides down the strings, and then he does this thing where he's walking up one harmonic note and then sliding up from one regular fretted note to another. So you have the 7th fret harmonic on the E string, then you skip to the D string, and you slide from the 11 to 13. Right, really cool sound. Then he repeats that on the next set of strings. So he goes the A string, 7th fret harmonic, skip to the G string, 11th fret, slide up to the 13th fret. So you have. So far you have. Then he goes from the 7th fret on the D string and the 12th fret on the B string harmonics. Right, so. And then he pulls off from the 11th fret of the E string to an open E string. So that whole thing. Then he goes to the 16th fret of the B string, and then he plays the 17th fret pull off to the open E string. 17th fret of the E string, pull off to the open E string. Oh, that was not it. So that whole thing. Then you play the 16th fret of the G string and the 14th fret of the B string. So you have. And you pull that off from the 14th fret to the open B string. So then he does this thing where he goes from he plays one harmonic and 2 fretted notes again, and he's pulling off those fretted notes. So it's the 12th fret on the G string, that's a harmonic, and then you pull off from 10 to 7 on the E string. So you have. Then you do the same exact thing, but this time on the D string, 12th fret, to the 10, 7 on the B string. So you have. And now you do the same thing, but you have to move because of the G string shift, the way tuning happens. You have the A string, 12th fret, harmonic, and now instead of the 10 to 7, you do 9 to 6 on the G string. Right? And you add a little bit of bend there. Just sounds really, really cool. Right, so that whole little thing is, let's see, we'll go from. Right, and we won't go through everything that's going on there, but if you do notice, take notice of throughout this whole thing, a lot of these harmonics happen on a string skip, and that's where you get the scale tone that's either above or below that note. So here. Right? That's these two notes. The D to the B are the same as playing this D to B, and this note is a G note. Right? So basically you're doing an arpeggio here. You're doing so that whole section is really just going down arpeggios. So again, maybe if you're thinking you're playing some arpeggios, see if any of the harmonics work in that, and then when you're doing your riffs, you know, the more you do this, the more it'll kind of just naturally go into your playing. If you watch Phil play anything, he's always throwing harmonics in because he's so familiar with them and what pitches relate to the scales that he's using. It's really awesome. All right, so the next section after that's really cool. It gets into this little, again, everything seems to break up the pattern that he was doing. Nothing's real like pattern oriented. It's not like he does one pattern, goes to the A chord, does the same thing but changes some notes. It's like one thing is this, which is walking down a scale. Then the next is, he's doing, something where you're pivoting off of notes. Then he gets into this, and then he gets into this little triplet thing, which is really, really cool. And that is the 16th fret harmonic, which is sometimes a little hard to get. So you really have to get a little bit of gain on and really, really try and find that. So it's the 16th fret G string harmonic. Then you pull off from the 17 to 15 on the E string. Then you repeat that just down a string. So it's the D string, 16th fret harmonic, pull off from 17 to 15 on the B string. And then what he does is he goes down again, 16th fret on the A string. So it's all three of these harmonics, G, D, and A, pulling off 17 to 15. Then the last time he goes back to that 15th fret on the E string and bends up just a little bit. So you have, and if you let all those harmonics ring, you kind of get that really cool thing happening. And then he ends on a low E note. All right, so after that little triplet thing, he does another unique pattern in this whole thing where now he's skipping back and forth from notes. So from this note, so he goes up and then he pulls off a few notes down. So you have, right, so instead of playing this D note on the E string to the 12th fret, pulling off to the 7th fret, all on the E string, he plays that D note as a harmonic on the 7th fret of the G string. Right? And then he does the same thing on another string down. Right? So that would be this pattern. 10th fret, 12th to 8 on the B string. But instead of playing that A note, the 8th fret on the B string, you play the harmonic on the 7th fret of the D string. Kind of get a little bit of bend there, and now there's actually pause between the next riff, so you get to hear that little bend. It's just really, really cool because you're getting that A note and the G note, and you're bending that up to like almost a G sharp, but not quite. So you have, so that whole thing is. And here he goes from the A string on the 7th fret harmonic to the 12th fret of the D string harmonic. And you keep that A note harmonic ringing. I'm sorry, the A string, which is really the E note. And then you slide between those notes. So you're sliding from the 7th fret, 9th fret, down to the 5th fret on the D string. So you have, and you can even bend that up again just a little bit because you have the E note, which is the root, and you have the minor third. Everybody bends that up. Right? So the whole thing. Right? And then he just does a typical blues thing, sliding up from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the E string and back, and letting the open E string ring at the same time. So you have the B string, 3rd to 5th, and open E string. And now you can play here, you have the 2nd to 3rd, 2nd open on the G string. And you can either play the B string with that, or the B and the E string underneath it, or just the E string. You know, just get all those things to ring out. Then he just goes down to the E note, 2nd fret of the D string, to the open E string. All right, really, really cool, and that's the whole thing. Then it gets into just a killer song, as all his songs are. But man, that is just so much stuff happening with one single concept, though. It's the concept of mixing in fretted notes and harmonics. And we walk through a bunch of ways where he's doing that. Again, go back there go back through the whole thing and really, see what's going on. The first one is, a harmonic 2-note pull off, and then on the next string it's just a 1 note. So that's 2 notes, then just 1 note, then 2 notes, then 1 note, right? Then he adds a little dissonance with bending. Then he repeats the phrase, does a few things. Then the other part is, he's pivoting back and forth between notes and harmonics. Then he does a thing here where he goes, right? And those are arpeggios. You can just keep going with it. Then he does this triplet section, which is again a harmonic and then pull off 2 notes. Just really, really cool. And then he gets into this thing, which is going, instead of going down a scale, it's pivoting up, then down. Again, just a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Take it for what it's worth. Learn it if you want. It's just so cool and fun to play. It's really kind of tough to get up to tempo and clean. So really, take it slow with the metronome, get it in time and everything as always. And then start stealing little parts of it and maybe incorporating into your own playing. Whew. That's a lot of stuff. I didn't think it was going to take that long, but it's a monster, and it's something we usually don't do. A lot of us are learning licks and riffs, but we're not learning any harmonic kind of thing unless it's like a Van Halen thing where he throws in like 2 or 3 harmonics. This is a whole composition based on scale tones and harmonics and blah, 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 blah. Anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this, again, please subscribe, click like, and share this with people. And let us know if you want to see more. If you dig what's going on with, Phil X doing stuff for us, let us know. Because the more people that dig this, maybe we'll get him to do some more stuff in between his touring with Bon Jovi and all the other studio session stuff. And that guy is busy making babies. All right. We will see you again. Check out GuitarBreakdown.com. Read the description below if you want. We'll put up a few links, a few different things that are going on, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Around in my keeping tights. I hear voices when they kill the lights.